Howdy, this is Shannon Kringen, Goddess Kringen, Seattle, and it is January 22nd, 2025, Wednesday, and I don't feel like being on camera, so I'm going to have my book be on camera. So this is my book that is called Art, Identity, and the Sacred. It's my art as a spiritual practice. I am somebody who is very excited about the acting class that I signed up for, and it's a voice class. And I'm excited that today I'm going to walk dogs and then we're going to perform live music at the Central Saloon in Seattle. I just had the misfortune of somebody that I talked to online, but I haven't met in person, a woman who has a different way of seeing things from me. And she is proceeding to tell me that her opinion isn't just her opinion is facts, and therefore my opinion is wrong, although she's not saying that. So, this is a form of psychological warfare that people are doing to each other. I think that the media frenzy, the way I personally do not watch television. I do not watch mainstream news. I try not to watch too much alternative news either because it feels like a manipulation. And I like to say manipulations, whipping the goat, Scorpio moat, razors choke the bloom. You said you'd be here, but you never showed. So that's part of a rhyme. I feel like humans are doing a lot of psychological warfare and manipulation to each other, and people have a pecking order and they want to conform. There is mass psychosis formation, similar to what happened in World War II Germany, except for it's different groups of people pitted against other different groups of people. But the bottom line is there's a similar pattern of people psychologically and physically manipulating each other into thinking that these people over here are the good people and these people over here are the bad people. And you have to do this and this and this in order to do this and this and this. And it's very, very disturbing and it's very confusing. Let's just say that if I had to live through uh, Germany, World War II, I would have been somebody who had a fake passport and pretended like I was somebody else in order to just survive. My main goal would be to survive, not to win a contest about who is right and who is wrong. I think that when people harm other people, they are obviously wrong for doing that, no matter why they're doing it. But there's a lot of hypocrisy, so I don't want to say anything too specific, but I wrote a song about it called Polarized Landscape, Outsmart the Gaslighters, Polarized Landscape, and Cancel Culture Vulture Virtue Signal Soldiers. And maybe I'll read one of those poems on camera sometime later. Um, the other news I have to share is that my a relative of mine's loved one passed away at the age of 86 in the hospital from liver failure, and we don't know why his liver failed. It might have been a complication and side effect from heavy medications that they were using to try to help him, but we don't really know. The bottom line is when somebody passes away like that unexpectedly, you are grieving. So my family member is grieving, and I am also grieving, even though I wasn't super close to the person that was 86 that passed away. It happened about a month ago, and this loved one in my family and I are going through this cycle of grief, and recent events in California, Southern California, also have me very triggered. I grew up in San Diego, California, and I've been to Los Angeles many times. And my father grew up in Burbank, California, which is in LA County, I guess. And spent a lot of time as a child going to Disneyland when I grew up in San Diego. So I do have an attachment and a connection to Southern California in a couple different ways. And um, let's just say the whole 2.0 Build Back Better, be unburdened about what has been, um, phrases come to mind, and it seems very convenient. Certain things happen, and it's very convenient for people who want to build cities that are smart and put in certain technologies at a rapid pace. And I'm feeling, especially as a pet sitter, dog walker, animal lover kind of person, and I volunteer out in nature, I'm especially distressed by the nature that was harmed in the fires and the dogs and cats, people's pets, also just wild animals, the, birds and squirrels and earthworms and snakes and coyotes and mountain lions and raccoons, spiders, all kinds of insects that we will probably never see because they're microscopic, or, whatever, all kinds of natural, and then you think, okay, well, maybe this is a opportunity to, when everything is destroyed by a disaster, whether it's man-made, a criminal activity, or a natural disaster that the earth is creating or whatever. And I think everything really is a combination of nature and humans and technology. And some things that are passively, there's like narcissists, and then there's covert narcissists. There's passive aggressive people. There's people who passively allow things to happen, and it's hidden because you think, oh, this was inevitable, this had to happen. Well, maybe not. Maybe it was allowed to happen. So there's different things. So this can go in terms of, I'm a pattern thinker. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I'm dyslexic, and I'm ADHD. I'm also extremely intelligent and extremely wise. And so I'm not saying that to put myself down. I'm saying that my brain is different, and I see patterns. I see humans deceiving each other. I see deception. I see passive aggressive, covert manipulation. I see patterns. I did a painting in high school when I was 16 or 17 about two main groups of humans, one group that goes with nature and one group that uses technology to try to conquer and outsmart nature. And I wish I still had the painting. But the painting, I painted it from my subconscious message that I got, which was that the humans that think they can outsmart nature, like there's people now, I'm not religious, but I'm also not an atheist. I believe in nature, and I believe in spirituality from a natural standpoint. I believe that nature is God or a great spirit, or that we're all creating this together, that every human creates their own ripple effect. So each human creates the ripple effect. So if you regurgitate what they tell you in the media, then you are helping perpetuate that. But then there are people who dissuade you, like the person I tried to talk to online today, although I kind of lost my cool with her. She's trying to dissuade me that my different way of seeing things is not based on fact. Her opinion that matches the narrative, it could be that what she was saying was a fact that was a disturbing fact that I will not repeat here. It's not a big deal, but I just want some privacy with the conversation that I had with this person. But when something is a fact, that's one thing, but there's a deeper meaning and a deeper level and a deeper pattern to it. I see people manipulating each other, people wanting to use other people as a scapegoat, and it is more comfortable to just believe what you're told and to not. Also, it's hard to figure out what the nuances are. And as somebody close to me said, does it really matter? Does it matter what's true or false? Like if you were living through World War II Germany and you were in a camp, it doesn't matter what's true or false about the people that are abusing you in the camp. What matters is that you survive. You figure out how to survive, even if that involves um, living in a dream world or creating with your imagination things that are not real so that you can delusionally know that you might survive. So, and yet it's not delusional. So the imagination, I think it was Einstein that said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So, meaning that we can't change or create anything new unless we use our imagination. And if we just go around regurgitating and learning facts and regurgitating what the news tells us, whether it's true or false, that's one thing. But I personally, I think that, in my opinion, every human needs to figure out what their path is, what their role is. I've never felt like my role was to be a conformist. I never felt like my role, I'm an artist. I'm an open-minded experimental thinker. So I don't want to listen to what other people tell me and then regurgitate it and repeat it. And I don't want to let people shame me about having a different way of seeing things. I want to allow them to have their opinion and they can think it's valid, whether I agree with it or not. It is valid for them because they have a reason why they see things. Here's another visual that I can show you. Everybody is entitled to whatever. Yeah, these are all different self-portraits. Everybody is entitled to whatever opinion they have, whether it's true or false. Nowadays, it seems like people are being weaponized against each other in terms of arguing about, well, that's not my opinion, that's just a fact. Okay, but what do we do if something is a fact? If something is indeed a fact, your opinion can vary. You can think, well, that's good that this fact is true, or that's bad that this fact is true. Or maybe you can think it's in the middle somewhere. Maybe there's pros and cons to something that's happening in the world that people think is negative. But when people deceive each other and harm each other, I think it is negative and I don't agree with it. But I feel like I'm on trial now. When I talk to people sometimes, I feel like I'm on trial and like I'm not allowed to have whatever opinion I have because it's not regurgitating a certain soundbite. And then this person said, "Oh, that means you like this kind of person, right?" I'm like, "No, actually I don't. Just because I don't agree with you in a certain way doesn't mean that you can fit me into a stereotype." It's like it's ironic. I think people are stereotyping each other more than ever now and putting each other in boxes. And I can see why people have this mass psychosis formation. Look that up. Um, when people go along with certain things and they're so traumatized and frightened by um, horrible things that people are doing to each other. And then they think the answer is to demonize a group of people and then it's like it perpetuates this sense of us versus them duality. And that is very psychologically disturbing. And I didn't realize until recently that that can involve political parties and it can involve different like regions in the world, groups like one country versus another country. I already knew that, but it can also include one human that's trying to be friends with another person. And if they can't find any common ground and one wants to demonize the other, this is what I particularly have a problem with is when somebody thinks they're so-called one of the good people and then they proceed to demonize somebody like me who doesn't conform to the box that they think I'm supposed to fit in order to be a good person like them. Like I'm not in their tribe. They go, "Oh, I guess you're in that other tribe." And it's like, no, I didn't say I was in the other tribe. So people think you have to choose A or B, and you're not allowed to be beyond the A versus the B. That is very, very, very psychologically frightening to me. And people are stereotyping and labeling each other. And that is ironically or paradoxically going backwards. We're supposed to be evolving past that, I think. And I wrote another line recently called Cracking the Yoke of Woke versus Awake. If you're truly awake, I think that's a good thing. If you think you're like theoretically being woke is a good thing, but if you think being woke is to stereotype people in a whole new way and pretend like that's being awake, that's just perpetuating stereotyping of people. So, and being prejudiced against people in a whole different new way. So, and I need to be careful because I lost my temper and tried to make a controversial point, and I ended up getting canceled from one platform because of something that I said. And they had a committee meeting and unanimously agreed to cancel me. And they gave me no chance to apologize, no chance to explain myself, or no chance to make it up to anybody, no chance to do better, no chance, just, cut you off. So I think that there's a lot of self-righteous people from different sides of different categories of opinions, and they want to pat themselves on the back. And I think they're being hypocritical. They're saying that they're not like these bad people over here, and yet they proceed to act like total jerks and be dismissive and gaslighting and invalidating and scapegoating towards other people who don't fit into the little box that we're supposed to fit into. And it's supposed to be a safe place for blah, 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 blah. And yet it's not a safe place for people like me who don't fit into a stereotypical box. So that's creepy and weird. And this is the kind of mood I'm in today, but I'm going to go walk dogs. I have lots of pet sitting and dog walking, and I'm going to perform music tonight at the Central Saloon in Seattle, in Pioneer Square. I am performing music with a drummer and a keyboard player, and I'm taking an acting class called Voice and at Freehold Theater in Seattle, and I'm very excited about that. And we had our first session, and I really loved it. So there it is. I'm one human being, and I create a ripple effect, and you are whoever you are, and you create a ripple effect. And there are facts, but what we think about facts can vary. I don't like being told that I have to have a certain opinion about facts, or I'm with the camp over here versus the camp over there. And I don't literally mean a camp, but I mean like people are tribal. I guess I have another line in a song I wrote called Oxymorons Through the Door, a group for loners, and they all showed up. Because the way I think of humans as each person is an individual human. I guess if I had to fit into a category, it would be an artist, an individual who likes to create in their own unique way. Even though I'm similar to lots of other artists, I'm still my own individual person. And every single artist that I've ever met, whether they're an actor, a singer, a dancer, a visual artist, a musician, a poet, whatever, they all maybe fit in the category of being a creative artist, which for me means being open-minded and free thinking. That's one thing I love about actors when I meet actors is they're open-minded and flexible about who they are and how they want to express themselves, even if in their personal life they feel like they're a certain kind of person. But when you're an actor, you need to stay flexible and open. So there it is. So being an artist to me is a spiritual practice. Oh, that's what I was going to say is that I'm not religious, but I'm not an atheist. And I don't believe in science that manipulates people and is sponsored by corporations that make money from certain opinions. Actual science and biology is pretty fascinating when it's actually ethical and objective. Um, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but I don't fit into the category. I'm not religious, but I'm also not an atheist. I'm a spiritual, nature loving kind of person, but I don't really fit into a box. And I'm tired of kind of feeling defensive. And so there we go. I'm just going to share. That's just how I feel right now. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.